When we hear AI in healthcare, it's super tempting to picture this distant, futuristic world, right? Like maybe you imagine a sci-fi robot performing open-heart surgery in the year 2050. But in this explainer, we're going to look at the reality of the situation based on current data and research. And the reality is that AI isn't just coming, it is already here. It's actively operating as an agent in hospitals right this very second. It's expanding across absolutely every layer of medicine, fundamentally transforming how we automate medical tasks, clinical operations, research, and of course, direct patient care.
So, is AI secretly your new doctor? I know, it sounds a little provocative, but asking this really shifts our perspective perfectly. AI isn't some abstract concept waiting in the wings anymore. It's a present-day medical tool automating tasks right under our noses. It's diagnosing, it's writing prescriptions, it's guiding surgical robots, it's executing direct clinical actions that actually change patient management. But how exactly is it doing this?
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to map out our categorical journey right now so you know exactly where we're going. 1. Automating clinical administration. 2. Transforming detection and care. 3. Pharmaceutical research. 4. Optimizing training and logistics. And 5. The macro-determinant divide. By mapping this out, we can see exactly where AI takes direct action and where it hits its limits.
Section 1. Automating clinical administration. We're starting right at the foundation with the mundane but absolutely crucial front desk paperwork, scheduling, and billing that keeps a hospital actually running.
Now, what's really interesting here is how AI is actively taking over very distinct medical tasks across entirely different operational sectors. We're talking ambient scribing for admin work, all the way to predictive models managing hospital beds. Specific algorithms are stepping into vital everyday functions. Let's zoom in on that top layer, administration.
Ambient AI scribing is a literal game changer for how doctors spend their day. You know that feeling when your doctor is typing furiously into a computer while you're trying to explain your symptoms? We've all been there. Well, now the AI actively listens in. It records the real-time consultation, analyzes the conversation, and then boom, it auto-generates structured clinical notes directly into the electronic health records. This drastically reduces the administrative burden on your physician, but it doesn't even stop there. Algorithms also process these clinician notes using natural language processing to automatically suggest billing codes, cutting down on medical billing errors, and simultaneously, intelligent triage algorithms analyze incoming patient symptoms to optimize operating room usage.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. Transforming detection and care. We are escalating now from managing paperwork to actually transforming life-saving detection. Picture a packed, chaotic emergency room. Monitors are beeping, people are rushing around, it looks completely overwhelming. But behind the scenes, conversational AI is running 24/7 symptom checkers, calmly evaluating patients and directing them to self-care, telehealth, or immediate urgent care. It's automatically prioritizing high-acuity cases. Meanwhile, AI is analyzing real-time biometric streams from smartwatches and continuous wearable monitors to catch things like atrial fibrillation, fall risks, or dangerous blood glucose spikes super early. And perhaps most incredibly, predictive algorithms are constantly scanning hospital patients, generating risk scores that flag individuals who are at a high risk for sepsis or ICU deterioration. And it's doing this often before the physical symptoms even fully manifest to the human doctors on the floor.
Section 3. Pharmaceutical research. So AI is optimizing the ER. But what happens when we shift gears and step into the pharmaceutical lab? Let's look at how AI accelerates drug discovery and personalized precision medicine.
Billions. Just think about that number for a second. To put that into perspective, a human researcher could never, ever screen 1 billion molecules in a single lifetime. But AI is stepping in to predict protein structures and screen these billions of molecular candidates in silico, meaning it's all happening inside a computer simulation instead of physical test tubes.
So the crucial point is that by chaining these automated steps together, predicting the structure, then digitally screening the candidates, AI compresses early drug discovery timelines from what used to take years down to just mere months. It is literally altering the speed of medicine.
And once those drugs actually exist, AI figures out exactly who needs them. Through genomic profiling, machine learning cross-references your individual DNA with global clinical trials. It's actively matching targeted therapies tailored to your specific gene mutations. Furthermore, it optimizes the clinical trials themselves by matching qualified patients to trial criteria and predicting adverse drug reactions entirely in advance. It's hyper-personalized precision medicine automated at a scale that's just mind-blowing.
Moving on to Section 4, optimizing training and logistics.
We've seen how AI manages the human body, but let's see how it manages the physical environment of the hospital itself and the people working inside it.
Check this out. Before a surgeon ever makes a single incision, AI is already preparing them for action. By pairing AI with virtual and augmented reality, hospitals can create patient-specific 3D anatomical models. This allows surgeons to physically practice highly complex procedures on a digital twin of their exact patient prior to ever entering the operating room. It is a genuinely awe-inspiring piece of technology that directly changes how doctors prepare for life and death scenarios. It kind of acts like a crystal ball for hospital logistics. AI anticipates resource bottlenecks before they happen by forecasting hospital census data, predicting emergency department arrivals, and anticipating supply chain needs. It acts as the brain, managing the flow of the entire hospital ecosystem, ensuring that when you need a bed or a specific medical supply, it's actually there waiting for you.
And that brings us to Section 5, the macro-determinant divide. We've seen how AI acts as an active agent in clinical settings for sure, but now we have to introduce a fascinating narrative twist. We're pivoting away from clinical action to highlight what AI cannot directly fix, the upstream societal determinants of health.
And this brilliantly illustrates a massive divide between what AI actually does and what AI merely observes. Clinical AI takes direct action on downstream biological symptoms, right? It writes the prescriptions, it guides the robots. But when it comes to macro determinants, things like income distribution, housing security, environmental policy, education, AI's role is primarily observational and analytical. AI used for macro determinants mostly just aggregates non-clinical data. It looks at satellite imagery, census statistics, and local pollution levels to map structural inequities or forecast population-level risks. The technology itself does not fix the structural policy, it just maps it out. Human decision-makers must still act on the data.
For instance, your local public health agency might use AI neutrally as a planning tool. They use predictive models to determine where to deploy community resources, where to build the next green space, or how to route your local public transit. Public health researchers also use machine learning models for policy simulation, forecasting the long-term population health impact of macroeconomic policies like a universal basic income or sugar taxes. It aids evidence-based policy design before implementation. But again, the AI functions as a planning tool for policymakers rather than an automated provider fixing the issue directly.
But this observational role brings us to a really specific caution identified in the research, algorithmic bias. Because macro determinants naturally reflect historical economic disparities and structural conditions, training AI on historical social data carries a massive risk. The concern reported here is that using this data could inadvertently hard-code these existing conditions into automated decision-making. If algorithms are used for things like credit scoring, housing allocation, or welfare distribution based on historical data, they could unintentionally reinforce those upstream determinants of health rather than solving them.
Which leaves us with this incredibly important, frankly provocative final question. While we are successfully automating tasks to treat biological symptoms at an unprecedented speed, will that automation end up hard-coding historical biases when applied to society at large? It's a fascinating tension between the incredible power of clinical AI and the absolute necessity for thoughtful human governance to address societal inequities. Something to definitely think about the next time you hear about AI transforming healthcare. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.